Well, free agency is upon us.
Hmm.
We got some questionable or decent signings. We're going to talk about that. The biggest surprise so far. We're going to talk about that and why is the wide receiver market not moving. Stay tuned and cue that theme music. So, welcome back to the Back Porch Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
And Quan,
Hey, how you doing there?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all
Yes,
right. Just
yes.
watching all the news come past my phone and stuff.
Yeah, man, my phone died almost because it's all the boops and the beeps coming through there. But before we get kicked off in this free agency frenzy, we're gonna drop a little news on you. So on yesterday, Monday, Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins said he's want to trade.
Mm.
Adam Schefter reported that Higgins requested a trade after the team franchise tagged him this offseason. While he loves Cincinnati, and I'm quoting here, he loves Cincinnati, but is disappointed that the team hasn't had any talks about a long-term contract extension since March 2023, so over a year, and he's ready to move to a new home. And this is Adam Schefter. Between him and the
Uh,
other guy, I take what they say as the gospel. And the source we kind
mm.
of picked up from the Cincy Jungle. I think that's the Bengals resident website
Hmm.
media thing. Uh, in a trade package, NFL insider Jordan Schultz said is his understanding, and that's in quotes as well, that it will take a second or third round NFL draft pick to get Higgins. The problem would be that once you trade for him, you will have to pay him. This is why it is predicted by the NFL insider Jordan Schultz, as well as myself, that he's going to play under that franchise tag. He has no choice. Now he could sit out. He could definitely sit out, but why sit
You're gonna
out
get
and miss
fined,
guaranteed money?
and you're gonna get fined.
Yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, I want anybody to get their money. I'm never going to judge a man's pocketbook because that ain't what I do. But at the same time, if you look at the situation in Cincinnati, they dumped the Brinks truck in front of Joe Burrow, and up next you got to pay Jamar Chase. So we could possibly see a reduction in those weapons. So what do you got to add, bro?
Really, really not too much. We chopped it up about this a few weeks ago about Jamar
Right.
Chase, whether it should get rid of him because we knew the contract talks was gonna be a big part of this offseason, as you see now.
Hmm.
Um, but I believe Higgins know what he brings to this team and the stability that he brings on the field. And like he said, he was disappointed that they weren't able to, talk contract extensions and stuff like that. But once again, like I mentioned before, the Bengals have way bigger problems than to try to keep pretty much two number one receivers on the team.
Right.
They got some issues in the trenches and or whatever that they need to fix. So it's not really a big surprise to me that they didn't go all out and try to keep the uh, wide receiver duo that they have between Higgins and them. But it'll be very intriguing to see whether a team will trade for him, or will he sit out and play under the or would he play underneath the franchise tag or sit out? Um, I don't know. As of right now, I haven't heard anything about any trade talks for the Bengals for
Mm-mm.
Higgins.
Mm-mm.
Uh, but I don't know, man. I'm just gonna sit back and watch the show as it go on.
Hey, that's all we can do is sit back and watch the ship go down. But
Hmm.
so the league year starts tomorrow, I believe.
Hmm.
But free agency, this has been the most dramatic free agency I've seen in a long, long, long time, bro. Like I haven't seen these many pieces go so quickly in a very long time. So let's talk about it for a minute. So now Everybody knows about Kirk Cousins, and by the way, Daniil Hunter just signed a 2-year, $49 million, 48 million guaranteed to the Texans.
Wow.
Wow, get your money, big dog. We gonna go through some notable names that move. We ain't got time to
Right.
go through everybody. So let's
Oh
start with Kirk
no.
Cousins.
Hmm.
Kirk Cousins, wow. That's the best I can say is wow.
I mean,
The Atlanta Falcons got their. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna knock Kirk Cousins because he did see some marginal success in Minnesota, but I got to take my hat off to him because he's a master negotiator. This man negotiated a deal for 4 years, $180 million.
and I don't
It's a
know,
second
man.
contract, by the way.
Um, I I don't know. I feel like the Falcons kind of paid him for what he has done throughout his career in Minnesota. All right,
Yeah,
the man has had multiple. I know at least over 3,000 yards passing multiple times.
right.
But let's not forget that he had arguably the best receiver in the NFL, Justin Jefferson, in Minnesota with him that contributed to a lot of those passing yards that he accumulated
I
for
mean,
the
but
past couple
before
of years.
Jefferson, he was putting up numbers though.
Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, for a 35-year-old quarterback,
That is facts.
4 years, 180 million, that is crazy. I feel like I know it was talks uh for Justin Fields to be gone to Atlanta. They could have
Yeah,
did
I
that.
remember that. I remember that.
They could have invested that money into a younger quarterback and gave that money to Justin Fields, which they would have to sign him to a 5th-year option.
Right.
Um, but it's just that number is scary for 35. Now, a lot of that has to do with his age. I know that a lot of that money is probably guaranteed because of his age and the risk of
Hmm.
him getting hurt, yada yada yada, the typical player NFL talk.
Right.
Um, but dang man, I mean that's a pretty large contract for Kirk Cousins. And like I said, no disrespect to Kirk Cousins, man. You're a veteran guy and so forth and so on, but I just wasn't expecting the Falcons to pay him, or even I didn't expect him to sign him, honestly. But
I, yeah.
nevertheless to say to sign him that much of a contract for such an old quarterback, man. I mean, he may not even be able to finish his 4 years. I don't even know. Like I don't know. I don't know. You don't see too many quarterbacks playing until they 39, 40 years old outside of Brady. I mean,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
successfully. I mean, that's a stretch. That's something to think about. But I ain't no GM. I ain't no owner, no franchise. So I don't know what their goal is. But I mean, you putting an old dog with a whole lot of young guys, which could be a good thing. But for that amount of money,
I
man,
mean,
God.
they kind of paid for the well, not the future, but this upcoming season, possibly next year. So I'm sure there's some void years in that contract. Um, that signing alone makes the Atlanta Falcons a favorite to win the NFC South. And if you look at the NFC South in its totality, uh, hmm,
Hmm.
it's not quite good. I mean, the Buccaneers had a little run this past year, but like I said, if you look at the totality, you can possibly see them as favorites for that division. The second one that was kind of big was Chris Jones. The Chiefs smartly kept him 5 years, 160 million. Like we saw that coming. Um, yesterday was the day though. Yesterday was that day. My boy Dennis called me. I was picking up my son, and Dennis called me. Man, it was like, man, Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle. I can't call it.
Wow,
New York, what you doing?
wow.
That's tough.
The
I
only the
three
only
years,
piece
$37.75 million. So you got like $38 million.
And it's crazy because they was just discussing about how Saquon wanted to be a Giant for life. He ain't wanting to leave, so forth and so on. They showed him
Mhm.
the bag in Philly, and he said, "Peace out."
He said, "Thank you."
First off, big big boo boo on the Giants
No,
organization.
I can't say that because the Giants did a complete 180 on me before Monday night was over with. Now, but go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna say that they probably shouldn't have let him go. I mean, he was a they drafted the guy. The guy is special in that offense when healthy.
Hmm.
Um, Whether they have the accommodating pieces to complement him, I don't really know. Um, but I mean, he was a big piece of collateral on that team. Um, they shouldn't have never let him become a free agent, in my opinion. They should have been had a deal done early on, but we've seen some of the hardships that the market was having with the running backs, which is now leaking into the wide receiver thing. But um, I'm surprised, man. And then not only did he leave New York, but he stayed in the division with the Philadelphia Eagles, who's going to be that's a scary offense. Like
He got to play
DeAndre,
them twice a year.
like Swift, I like Swift because he was elusive, fast guy, catch out the backfield. Saquon can do the same thing, but he got more power with him. But yo, that's gonna be something to see. That offense in Philadelphia,
Mm.
that is gonna be crazy. That is
That-
crazy.
that's gonna be cool and all, but you got to remember the offensive line stalwart, um, Travis Kelsey brother, Jason Kelsey, he just retired. Um, the other guy, I forget his name, he retired. But yeah, here's the thing: I agree with New York moving away and letting Saquon test free agency. Here's why: Saquon Barkley had a lot of injury concerns, and I kind of blame that
Yeah, he did.
on New
He
York's.
did.
That's on New York's offensive line. I've been saying for the past 5 years, y'all need to do that line some justice. Even Eli Manning, later on in his career, in the twilight of his career, he was playing on his back.
Yeah.
So I kind of sort of agree. But see, like I said, New York Giants did a whole 180 when they got Brian Burns from the Carolina Panthers. That's an underrated signing.
Hmm.
That to me, in my personal opinion, that's underrated. By the way, he got traded to the Giants and he got a 5 year, $150 million contract. Boy,
I
don't
mean,
Cam Newton
that's
take
good.
it.
That's all right. That's all right.
They're
I
building
mean, it doesn't.
defense, but they
They
got
be.
to work on that O line, man.
I mean, they got to work on that offense in general. In my opinion, it starts with the
Hmm.
quarterback. They got to figure out what they're gonna do. Are they gonna invest in the draft and draft a quarterback? Are they gonna stick with Danny Dimes? They got to figure that out, and then they got to work on the offensive line as well.
Right.
And then they got to fill. Now they got to fill in a whole. I mean, Saquon Barkley was at least 75% of that offense, at least, if
Yeah.
not more.
Yeah. It's
They
tough.
leaned on Saquon a lot because it kept the ball out of that fumbling guy, Daniel
Right.
Jones. I mean,
Right.
it helped support him. So now they got to worry about filling that. I mean, Brian Burns is good on that side of the ball, but that's I mean that's a huge gap. Somebody's gonna have to fill those shoes. And
Uh, that's why you got the draft, my guy. That's why you got the draft. And,
yeah, it
this
looks like they're
draft,
going.
like we said last week, this draft is deep in offensive line and wide receiver. New York has no excuse. They
Right.
don't.
But honestly, though, I mean, they they've been in the rebuilding stage for ever since Eli Manning left, pretty much.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, it's hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt to see him in that green and white. It's gonna be
Mm.
crazy, but um, they got to figure it out. Hopefully, they'll be able to accommodate and sign some free agents on the offense side of the ball because I really feel like they need to figure out some things over there.
Yeah, most
Um,
definitely.
but yo, I'm just like I'm surprised they let him go and they also let him go to a rival. Like that's
That's
just
tough.
different. That's
But
different.
when you're an unrestricted free agent, like the team really does not have no say so in where you go. It's more of a personal choice and who's throwing the biggest bag at
And they ain't want to pay it. That's the
him.
thing, though. I'm trying to figure out why New York didn't want to. I understand the injuries. I understand, but honestly, he was looking to kind of be the franchise running back of the New York Giants.
I'm just
I
saying.
mean, he went to the media and said that he wanted to be a Giant for life. I feel like they should have took that a little personal
It,
and kind of,
yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
it's a business. It's a business,
That
big
too,
dog.
a huge
It's a
one.
business. Speaking of business, the little birdie told me business is booming in Pittsburgh.
Oh Lord.
Y'all, y'all, y'all signed Russell Wilson. Wow, and it gets better. Today they signed Patrick Queen, 3 years, $41 million.
Good. I like that signing more than I like. Now, I mean, I, I've been kind of teeter totting on Russell Wilson
Well,
signing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right.
y'all.
Now,
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Go ahead,
this
man.
year, um, we barely made it into the playoffs. Kenny was not the answer. Kenny went down with an injury. Mason Rudolph came in, saved the day, made it to the playoffs, yada yada, lost to Buffalo. All right, the fan base is pretty much over Kenny Pickett right now. He's going into his third year as a quarterback,
I said that ain't what I saw.
and so
Shoot.
they we a little over Kenny. I kind of like the signing of Russell Wilson, and here's why: we got him for a Dollar Tree cheap.
Pretty much.
Thankful for the thankful
Pretty
for the
much.
not the Buccaneers, the
The
Broncos.
Broncos, yeah.
They covered his salary for us. Now we had to pay him $39 million. No, 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 no,
Y-
no, 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 no.
y'all wouldn't
Me
have got him.
personally, I wanted Justin Fields. That was if I was GM,
Yeah.
I would try to trade for Justin Fields. He's a younger quarterback. He may not be experienced, but I feel like his willingness to run with the way we try to lean on Najee and Jalen Warren back in the backfield. I feel like that kind of now with Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't know, but I like it because we got him for dirt cheap. All right, we're only paying him like $1.3 million. That's nothing to them.
That's
It's a
pennies
lot to
compared to
us.
the
It's a lot to us, but it's nothing to them. So
right.
we got him for pennies. He's an experienced guy. We making him earn that starting job as quarterback, even though it's not really a competition.
He ain't really got to do much to
But
earn that starting job.
that boy will go out there and throw one pass. Mike Tomlin say you hide.
Yeah,
But
you know that he
I
got
like
the
the fact
standard.
that I like the fact that we're making him earn it. We're not paying him, and if it doesn't work, it's only a year contract. We can easily get rid of him. So I like the fact that okay, we did sign a guy like this that not everybody likes, but he has had success. This is probably one of the best defenses he's playing for since
He,
Legion of Boom.
he had success over a decade ago.
And
Oh, go ahead. I'm
I said
sorry, bro.
I'm just saying that I mean he's an experienced quarterback.
I mean, okay,
Um,
I give you that. I think it was 9-time Pro Bowler. Super Bowl
Super Bowl
champion.
champ. So he got a
Uh,
lot of accolades that a lot of guys don't wouldn't have for us if we was to shop around elsewhere. Because honestly, I wouldn't want to sign Kirk Cousins. But nevertheless,
y'all would have. I think y'all would have fared better with Kirk Cousins than Russell Wilson. But that's just my opinion. But let's go to the Patrick Queen thing for a second. So a lot of I've been in the AFC North stuff on Facebook. And by the way, if you're not on Facebook, please join the Back Porch Sports Podcast War Room where you get all the doggone highlights and stuff. So before we even say it on the show, it's already up there. But back to the nature at hand. Um, this is why I'm laughing at this Patrick Queen signing. And it's not because y'all signed. I would laugh at anybody that would sign him because he didn't really come along until Roquan Smith. And then two, we've been trying to get rid of Patrick Queen for about 2 years. But just so happened we traded for Roquan Smith. He comes into the fold. Patrick Queen becomes a Pro Bowler. That's wild. Do I think he's going to contribute to that defense? I believe so. I really do. I'm not going to knock the brother. I mean, you know what I mean? A lot of Steeler fans going to see this video like, oh, he just ate. No, I ain't gonna knock the brother. Patrick Queen he got skills. He got tackling skills. He gonna tackle. But the problem is when offensive coordinators scheme the offense to the way that he has to go in coverage, that's gonna be the problem, in my opinion. But I mean, big
Mm,
up. I'm glad he got his money. Because the Ravens did not pick up his fifth year option. And in turn, that gives us, especially if he plays all year, doesn't miss a start, we get picks because of that. So appreciate you, Mr. Queen. It's all right. But
mm,
speaking of the AFC North, now this one, I was eating my lunch. I was on lunch break. I'm chilling. My phone go off. I mean, it got my phone got hot, and I'm looked down. It said
mm.
Derrick
Every time my phone got.
Henry. Oh, Derrick Henry, the sign with the Baltimore Ravens. I called it about 10 shows ago. I called it. I'm happy that we signed him because I was right. My only concern about Derrick Henry is not even his age, because even at age 29, he still rushed for almost 1,200 yards. So I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about in key moments. Are we going to use him effectively? For the amount of money you put on him, you had better. And of course, we getting Keith Mitchell back. He'll probably miss a couple of weeks, but that's all right. So the running back situation is not really as bad as what they making it out to be. My thing is let's get some corners, maybe some offensive linemen, and a couple of wide receivers, and then we're straight. The biggest fish in the pond, though, I think the biggest fish was Derrick Henry. To be honest with you, but there's a lot of people, a lot of names still floating out there. Names like Devin White. He's only
Mm.
26. Boy, that'll be dope. Um, Curtis Samuel, he's 27. Odell Beckham Jr. still sitting out there. What's the one that shocked me though was Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills. He signed a 3-year deal with the Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguar signing all receivers, but they got a lot of receivers over
They
there.
even picked up Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, they got a lot. They got a lot of receivers over there, boy. They gonna be
Ah, mm,
they. It's no now this year. It's no excuse why what the Jags is in the AFC South.
yeah, there's no excuse
Ain't
now.
no ain't no excuse. I mean,
It's their
you
division
got
to take, except from the Texans, but
yeah, they're gonna have to fight for that.
yes.
But I mean they didn't gave Trevor Lawrence has been having weapons for a good while now, way before this signing. But with all these guys that he got now, there's no way that he should be struggling. Like they should be
Right.
able to win some games, a lot of games. I'm talking about like 10 plus.
I can. I feel you on that.
like, bro, like you got a lot of weapons over there. Now, I just don't. I don't see how he's not successful. Gabe Davis, I actually like Gabe Davis, physical guy. Uh, big target. Um, I mean, it should be cheese for a guy like Trevor Lawrence. It should be. It's
Right.
no way. So
Right.
they definitely accommodating him with some weapons, and hopefully he'll be successful. But like you said, it's only a two-head race in that division
It's pretty
per
much.
se. I mean, Tennessee just lost their most valuable player, and I mean most valuable player. Um,
Literally.
so they out, and I can't remember who else in that division. I'm missing somebody, but they
You
don't
got.
matter because I can't think of them.
That's tough. You got Indianapolis,
Oh
Tennessee,
yeah, the Colts.
Houston, and Jacksonville.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, Coach really ain't. I ain't really paying too much attention to them. Not
Yeah.
saying that they ain't gonna compete, but I don't
They
know. I don't know. The
they
Colts
gonna.
is like a big old question mark.
They've been a honestly, they've been a question mark since Andrew Luck retired. But speaking of offensive line, just to switch gears for a second, The Giants did sign former Green Bay Packer guard John Runyon for a 3 year, $30 million deal. So they making a step in the right direction. They trying to put it together. I'm still holding out hope for the New York Football Giants, but they better not stumble
Nah,
out the
nah.
gate.
I got them losing in the division. I'm going to tell you my early prediction.
Oh my.
It's bad. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I was kind of disappointed to hear this news. Mike
Mhm.
Evans decided to stay in Tampa.
It makes
He
sense.
had. I mean, I understand that's where he was drafted at. That's the only thing he knows is Tampa. That's home, you know.
It
But
makes sense though.
God Almighty, man.
He would have had an incredible. I think that's why, to answer one of the questions, like why the receiver market is not really booming like that, because of the draft coming up, of course, and the fact that Mike Evans signed a 2 year, $52 million deal. So that means you got to go over $52 million.
Right.
So you still got receivers like Tyler Boyd sitting there waiting.
And another person that I feel real bad for, that career is just gonna go down.
Do that.
Austin Eckler. He went on down there to Wadden. You know you don't go to Wadden unless you going to get some crabs and some seafood.
No, 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 no. Hold on. See, you go to Washington to get the mambo sauce. You
Yeah,
want to go
but
get
I
crabs and
heard.
seafood?
I,
You get on 495, go north, hit the
um,
Baltimore Washington Parkway, and then you
uh,
keep going north. You go in Baltimore, you get your
well, see,
crabs and seafood.
I heard DC got some good soft drink crabs. I heard.
I mean, you know where they came from. It just
but
it's 45 minutes north. You know what I'm saying?
but I won't expecting Austin Eckler to first off
They go to
be
Washington.
to leave the Chargers. That was shocking, and to also go to Washington. That was like,
Ugh.
ugh.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, this man trying to get his. This is possibly his last contract. He's played his whole career with the Chargers. As
Mm-hmm.
a person who watches football, I'm looking at like personally, I wouldn't have went to the Commanders, not where they're starting at now. But as somebody who looks at the game from a different point of view, and from somebody who has a family and got a kid, I'm like, yo, go get your money.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't care where
So
you at, go get your money.
so since we're on the subject of running backs, what about Josh Jacobs going to the Packers?
That is huge.
That's huge for Josh, or is that huge for Jordan Love?
That's gonna be huge for Jordan Love. So let's
Mm.
talk about it. We saw Aaron Jones. We saw him run amok in the playoffs.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Here's the thing. You get the dude that flew up on the radar for the past couple of years in Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 26.
Mm-hmm.
He's won a rushing title. Now
Mm-hmm.
you saw what Aaron Jones did in the running game. You put Josh Jacobs in that same situation.
so
Boy,
do you keep AJ Dillon in this situation, or
well, you need to
'cause
change the
his
pace back.
contract
You need to
his
change the pace
contract is
back.
to be determined.
Right. So in that case, if I'm a GM, I'm looking at the draft at this point,
Mm.
because again, the running back position is not a value position, which is crazy because when you got a big league, who you rely on to keep the clock running?
Mm.
Hmm. I
I
can do you
don't
one
know.
even better. I can do you one even better. Who you rely on to set up the passing game?
Mm.
That's a whole nother topic right there. I ain't gonna mess
It
with that
is.
because
It is.
somebody gonna get real greasy in the comments. So I ain't gonna do it like that. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's before we close out. So, what is the biggest surprise so far? 'Cause we got some more. I know we got some more coming. But what is the biggest
Mm.
surprise so far?
Mm. I think it's definitely the King Henry going to Baltimore. That was huge.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I like it and dislike it at the same time.
I mean, yeah, I know
And
why you.
then And then I don't know. I think it's. I mean, honestly, the AFC North has been kind of surprising with the Russell Wilson and the Derrick Henry signing. Those was definitely surprising. I did not even think because at first it was something that came out for the Steelers that was saying that we wasn't interested at all. Like we was gonna stick with Kenny, and
Yeah, that
then
was smoke
Russell Wilson
screen.
came. So that was surprising. Saquon, it's been a lot of surprising stuff going on.
I think
I ain't
Saquon
gonna
was my
lie.
biggest
Saquon
Saquon
was
for me.
definitely one of them. Saquon was definitely one of them. Like, yo, really? Um, it's been so many though, man. I mean, this, like I said, I was telling my boy L. I was talking to him today, and I was telling him like last year, the season that we just got out of was probably one of the best seasons I ever watched.
Hmm.
Like especially for the AFC. But this free agency,
It's topping that.
it's some stuff going on in free agency that I would
Mm.
never imagine. It's gonna be a lot of. This year is gonna be good. I'm excited. I'm ready. Like if it started tomorrow, I'll be excited.
Yeah,
But yeah,
man.
those are definitely. I think my type one is probably Derrick Henry because that was definitely that was crazy.
Right. I
Derrick
mean,
Henry going to Baltimore, that's crazy.
like, all right, so I ain't gonna say my biggest surprise was Derrick Henry because I called it. I knew it. For some reason I knew we was gonna sign Derrick Henry. It's a Baltimore signing. My biggest surprise really is Saquon, just about how everything played out leading to and the aftermath. You got Tiki Barber up there saying you're dead to me. I'm like, bruh, come on, man. You ain't been relevant in about 20 years. But anyway, and I guess if I can go back, my other surprise got to be Kirk Cousins.
Mm,
That was to me, honestly, that was kind of it didn't have the wow factor, but it was more like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, because I like yourself, I was like, yo, I know he is going. I mean, not when I say he, I'm talking about Justin Fields. I know Justin Fields is going to Atlanta. It just makes sense.
hmm
To me, it made sense for Justin Fields to be in Atlanta.
I guess they aiming for experience. I guess.
But see, I had to dig deeper. I had to figure out what's going on. See, here's the thing: Chicago holds number one overall pick, right?
Mhm.
The consensus says it's Caleb Williams, which I still don't believe Chicago is going to draft Caleb Williams number one. That's just me.
Especially without getting they ain't got rid of Justin Fields yet. So
Exactly. I really feel like it's going to come down to one, two things. Either Chicago goes defense or offensive line, or Chicago trades away the number one pick draft night.
mm, that'd be a wrong answer.
That'll be the dumbest answer, but
Yeah, that'd be
that's just me.
crazy.
And that's just me. For y'all get too greasy in the comments, that's just me speculating. All right, but this free agency started off with a bang, and I'm here for it. I ain't friend. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen next. Like,
I
honestly,
mean,
somebody can get signed before this video go out. So,
no, for real. It's been left and right, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's been a lot of signings, and not just regular signings.
right,
There's been some big time people moving to some other teams, so
right.
it's
So
gonna be good. It's gonna be a good one.
it's gonna be really good, and I can't wait for. I really can't wait for the season predictions. I think we're gonna do something with that. I'm not sure just yet, but I think we can work with it. But
Mm-hmm.
let us know in the comments what you think, and please keep it classy, please, because I'm gonna come after you. That's just what it is. I'm grown. I
She talking about I'm grown.
So yeah, let us know in the comments. What was your biggest surprise so far? What do you think is a questionable or a decent signing by any team, or even your team? Just let us know. And remember that we're on Facebook. Please go to the Back Porch Sports Podcast War Room, where we always chopping it up and we always talking. Anything that happens, any news that come out, I always post it up. Or my Quan posted up. Anybody posts it up. So we always in the know. And we always throw out updates and show topics and stuff in there as well, so y'all can be ready. Um, again, and I almost forgot. number 100. The 100 has significance, even though we're on the road to at least 100K. Because I want that plaque. We want to be able to put that plaque up in the video. You know what I'm saying? So, just subscribe. If you're not a subscriber and you're watching it and you think our content is worthwhile, leave a comment and subscribe. It does help us out. And we appreciate you guys. Even though some of you greasy ones, some of the ones that want to be disrespectful, we still appreciate you for watching because you engaging with us. Anything else you want to add, bruh?
Not at all, man. Let's just sit back and
Well,
see who else gets signed.
right. We're gonna sit back and watch the show, man. So this has been the Back Porch Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
Ain't going.
And we are out of here.